Hello, welcome back everyone to this new video where today we're going to be talking about Fulham once and for all and about our previews and predictions for the rest of their season to see if they'll get promoted into the Premier League. So joining me today is a man who'd probably marry Mitrovic if he could. Lucas, how are you?
I'm good, and you?
Yeah, I'm good. And with Lucas and me is a man who'd probably tell you the next Tunisian player is Messi, Idris Brown. How are you?
Very good.
All right. Well, we'll get stuck in, and we'll talk about what Fulham are facing for the rest of the season, their fixture list. And to be honest, it's not looking that easy, is it, Lucas?
No, it's definitely not an easy line of fixtures, and another big problem is that we are Fulham, and that just intrinsically means that we'll play well against the good teams and bottle it against the bad teams. We also have an unfortunate habit of starting every season terribly, and this whole lockdown thing, finally when we built up a bit of form, we go on lockdown and we basically start a season again. I feel like any chance we had of automatic promotion was thrown away when we decided to lose 2-0 to Brentford and 3-0 to Leeds. I feel like another, smart choice we made was that once we were 3-0 down, it'd be great to get a player sent off. And then, of course, get Mitrovic retrospectively banned for pushing a Leeds player in the face with his elbow.
So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely looking a bit grim, but you have a game against Birmingham this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any, I mean, of course you won against QPR 2-1 midweek. Are there any positives to take into this Birmingham game?
Well, we still had a lack of attacking force. Basically, against QPR, we scored through a goal from our centre mid outside of the box and a goal from our right back again outside of the box. Both, to be fair, were very good strikes, but we weren't actually particularly potent within the penalty area, which is a bit of an issue. I think that was definitely marked by the lack of Mitrovic, because we usually have that sort of aerial presence. And I saw against QPR we had a fair few crosses going in. And while Bobby Decado-Reid is a very good technical player, he's not great in the air. So I think we definitely have to start adapting our style of play if we want to win games. I feel like we need to consolidate and win another couple of games to really secure our places in the playoffs, which I think is the goal at this point, to be honest. We've definitely got some important games coming up. I mean, the Birmingham arguably is important just for confidence, but we're then playing the three teams who are in direct competition with us. We're playing West Brom, who are second. We're playing Nottingham Forest, who have just jumped to 4 for our bonus and goal difference. And we're playing Cardiff, who are 6th. So it's they're definitely games that are going to decide who finishes where in the playoff places. And we definitely want to be finishing 3rd or 4th for that home advantage on the second leg.
Well, Idris, looking at Fulham's opponents, who do you think is going to be really the tough one that Fulham probably are going to be? Well, it's going to be the hardest for them to beat.
I think the upcoming Nottingham Fulham game in 2 weeks is going to be the really tough one. I think it's also going to be the deciding one in the Fulham's end of seasons, because it's the start of the hard run before going on to Cardiff and West Brom. I think the Nottingham game is whether Fulham can get the mojo back, and also it's against the team that is placed right above them. I think Nottingham have a pretty decent run of fixtures coming up. So I think this game is a must-win both for them and for Fulham. It's I would say the make it or break it season game.
Yeah, it's getting to that point for a lot of clubs now in the Championship, and I was looking at Brentford's form since the restart. They've been on fire, winning all their games so far against big clubs as well. And when looking at Fulham's opponents, for me, automatic promotion for Fulham seems quite peak. Now, I think they're nowhere close. West Brom are too strong. They've got a pretty deep squad with Camille Grosicki, loads of former Premier League players. And then you've got Brentford, who have a really easy run of fixtures. And I don't know, I'm scared for Fulham to really start dropping off with this loss of confidence. Yeah, I think as you said, Idris, that Nottingham Forest game is going to be important because Mitro's still not going to be back. So they're definitely going to have to change everything in a run of 2 games and then see how it goes with Mitro again.
A very important thing was beating QPR. It looked very bleak when I watched the game. We went down in under a minute. It was, in fact...
Yeah, the defending is absolutely atrocious on that QPR goal.
Yeah. Atrocious defending is really the way to summarise the last 3 games, if not last season. We have a strategy of basically trying to score more, but not really defending that well. It is really important that we did win that game against QPR, and we can hopefully now build up a bit of confidence to go on and start winning some other games. We're missing a lot of key players. Lots of key players. Well, 3 key players. We're missing Cabano, who hopefully can come back. Play then. We are missing a few defenders, Kongolo and Mawson. But obviously the main absence is Mitrovic and Abubakar Kamara, funnily enough, who is a very good impact player.
Yeah, and I think, we've been pretty negative so far, but looking at probably the future playoffs of them, I'm actually quite optimistic. As well, you guys have already been in this situation. You have a good core of players who knows how to win the playoffs. Plus some good Premier League talent with Arta, I think, who's Premier League level but playing in the Championship type players, or Mitrovic as well.
Arta's a debatable one. He can be a very good player sometimes, but he was quite poor. At least the first 2 games, he started redeeming himself a bit with that goal. But even then, he played a couple of sloppy passes backwards that ended up putting our defence under a lot of pressure and gave QPR 2 very solid chances. I feel like, realistically, we're going to have to start getting a lot better if we want to win the playoffs. I would have said that we could win the playoffs if you'd asked me 3 months ago before lockdown. But at the moment, if we can't beat Brentford at home like we did, we fell apart for the last 10 minutes of the game. If we can't beat Brentford, if we can't beat, these games are yet to come. If we can't beat Forest, Cardiff now, I don't see any reason to think that we'll be able to beat them in the playoffs. We really need to get a good run of form coming and properly improve our attacking strategies. Hopefully, as the games go on, we will become stronger, and who knows, we may be able to win the playoffs eventually. I think we will qualify for them at the very least, but
do you think there's any chance for them to get 3rd place?
3rd place? Yeah, I think we can get 3rd place, but obviously, it doesn't matter hugely whether we're 3rd or 4th. And the advantage of being 3rd or 4th is that your first game is away, and then your second game is at home, and the second leg being the most important, because that game decides everything. Obviously, there's less of an advantage now that there aren't fans.
Yeah.
But I think it is still there, being used to that pitch. I think we can get 3rd place because realistically, we're only 2 points behind Brentford, who are 3rd, and we're only 5th on goal difference. So all it takes is them. All it takes is for them to lose 1 game, us to win, and then we're sorted. The same can be said arguably about the top 2 teams, but it's obviously something that seems less likely.
Yeah, and also I guess you can't completely cut off the fact that Leeds, West Brom, and Brentford could all crumble down. You know, it's happened to Leeds in the past. Granted, it's, you know, the restarts has happened. Leeds players are maybe less burnt out than usual, but you know, there's still a case where the league could be open again in 2 games. You know, 2 games from now, we could be having a completely different conversation, saying about how Fulham could get automatic promotion.
So I think the league is still quite tight, and obviously we're having that Fulham automatic promotion discussion seemed completely dead in January, and then became a very real possibility. Ultimately, it's just that's one of the great things about the Championship is how variable the league is. The teams really fluctuate in form all the time. You can have big shifts in positions. I mean, the season Fulham went up, we were 17th in mid-November.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
and then finished third, 1 point behind second. So, yes, I mean, there's not a huge amount of sense in asking, you know, what if, but I mean, ultimately, mathematically, you just need West Brom to lose 2 games and Fulham to win 2.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's that easy, you know, football. But all right. Well, I'll ask the big question then. What are your predictions for Fulham's end of season?
You Idris.
Yeah, Idris.
So I honestly think Fulham will obviously make it to the top 6 and qualify for the playoffs. I just don't think it's going to be in that 3rd or 4th position. I think they will manage to hang on to that 5th position because Cardiff is pretty far behind, and Derby, looking at their fixtures, is not in their favor. So I think Fulham will qualify for the playoffs in 5th place. I think there is a chance that Brentford might overtake one of the 2 top teams for the automatic promotion, because they're having a good run of fixtures, and they've had 3 wins since coming back from lockdown. I still think also we have to watch out for Nottingham. But apart from that, I think the current table is pretty much going to be what it is at the end, except for maybe Brentford moving up and Nottingham and Fulham maybe switching around. But I think that's about it.
So, is it a yes or no for Fulham in the Premier League next year?
Yes for a playoff. For a Premier League, I doubt it.
All right. Hold on. I'll take that answer.
I just don't think they have the consistency to go on a run to just hold on to those important playoff spots and then continue the run inside the playoffs.
Yeah, of course.
So I think, firstly, I'll talk about final table positions. I do think at this stage, Leeds and West Brom are starting to build up some good form. I think that both Leeds and West Brom are going up in the automatic promotion spots, which is unfortunate because I'd like to see a bit of challenge in there. But I don't see, while Brentford are a good team at the moment, I don't see them challenging Leeds and West Brom realistically for those places. Obviously, it depends on a lot of things. It could happen. But I'm not convinced. I don't think Fulham are finishing 5th. I think Nottingham Forest have a form that fluctuates a lot, similarly to Fulham's, and Fulham do have a good record against Forest. Bearing in mind that Forest are only 4th on goal difference, they've got a goal difference 3 higher than Fulham. I mean, it's really being balanced on knife edge, like the end of the Championship season always is. I agree with you, Jason, that we are finishing within the top 6. If I had to predict something, I see 2 possibilities really. Either, sorry, my fucking dog.
Sorry.
I see Leeds first, West Brom second. I reckon at this stage, looking at Brentford have an easier run of fixtures, so I do think that they could hold on to 3rd place. Fulham 4th. I think Fulham will overtake Forest, and that we've started to build up some form, finding well we win the game. I do see us building up some form. We do tend to do that. It's a general pattern. I don't see Cardiff making the playoffs. I think Derby are only 1 point behind. I think that it's going to be Derby in the playoffs again.
The Rooney effect, probably.
Not really the Rooney effect. Is that well? We're not playing Derby. I do see Fulham beating Cardiff. I see Fulham beating Cardiff, or at the very least drawing against Cardiff. And if Derby win the game, that will be Cardiff out of the playoff position. In terms of the actual fixtures that are coming up, I'd say we'll beat Birmingham, probably draw against Forest, beat Cardiff. I'd like to say we'll beat West Bromwich Albion. I know that we were very unlucky in our game against them in November, I believe. We won the all game, and then our keeper made a mistake, and it was 1-1. And basically, I mean, the prediction, like everything in the Championship, the predictions very much depend on which games have been played. If Fulham win against Birmingham and Forest, they'll win against Cardiff, and they'll win against West Brom. It's
be cool.
We have a habit of building up. We do. Once we build up a form, usually we keep it for a while. And we also have a funny thing. I would actually be the thing that would surprise me the least right now, just knowing Fulham in general, would be us getting thumped by Birmingham and then winning the rest of our games.
Also,
or a pretty classic one actually, which happened the season we went up through the playoffs. We will win every single game until the last one. The last one will have an opportunity to go up if we win that game against Wigan, who are not very good, and we will lose to Wigan.
I mean, why not? And I mean, I have to ask the question, Lucas. Next year, are you getting beaten by Arsenal 5-0 again?
Well, given that we didn't lose to Arsenal 5-0, no.
Yeah, Craven Cottage, wasn't it 5-0?
5-1.
Oh, sorry.
How much that is to be.
So, is it going to happen again next year?
The issue is, I do feel like if we go up with this team, we're coming straight back down.
Yeah.
Issues, yeah. Well, you know, you can have a great transfer market like 2 years ago. You know.
If Fulham does go up, how much trust do you have in Fulham's board to get like those really needed transfer for the Premier League?
The issue is that Fulham's transfers, unlike most clubs, aren't really directed that much by the managers. So our owner's son, Tony Khan, is responsible for our challenge for all our transfers, and he seems to think that the Premier League is like Football Manager. He goes and looks at stats and will buy some obscure player from League One or Ligue 1, or some random club. He'll look at his stats. He'll have some of his statisticians tell him, "Oh yeah, this player has played really well." He'll then sign them for 35 million, and 1 year later, we'll be in the Championship, and that player.
Bargain, 35 million.
Right?
You should tell him to look at the North African leagues.
Yeah.
Future Messi's in there.
Sources say. Yeah.
The thing that's a shame is that, unfortunately, while I do like Scotty Parker a lot, I feel like on paper, this team, the players we have, should be walking the Championship.
Yeah.
On paper, our team should be crushing everyone. And honestly, with the players we don't have, if we don't go up, it's a travesty. But I feel like that may well happen, and I think that is because of poor management and poor tactics.
I mean, yeah, if you don't go up this year, honestly, I don't see. I mean, Mitch. How long is Mitch Rich's contract?
It's 4 years, but I don't really see Mitrovic staying for another year if we don't.
If it's not in the Prem.
I feel like if we don't go up, we need to change the management for sure. Because I mean, with the players we have, looking at Fulham's squad, I mean, Ream was Championship Player of the Season 2 years ago. Okay, yeah. Hector is a brilliant player. Our right back might be a bit weak, but Odoi and Saiz Christie have both been in pretty good form. Joe Bryan left back is the best left back in the league by a mile. We've got the best striker in the league. Theoretically, we've got Knockaert and Carriero, who are two really experienced Premier League and Championship players. Harry in midfield, again, Premier League quality. Tom Kenny, likewise. Bobby Decordova-Reid. I mean, we've really got, on paper, we've got everything we need. On paper, we've got what we need to walk this.
There's no excuse, I think. You put well, what's the Leeds manager? Bielsa at Fulham, top of the league. I think Scott Parker should probably have a lot more, should be held accountable a lot more than he is at the moment.
I have to say, usually I love Joe Bryan. He's been the main problem in the last few games. I think that's a good thing that we played him left winger, because in defence, he's been bombing forwards as we usually do, but just not recovering. And he's been at fault for, that not recovery has been at fault for at least 2 or 3 goals in the last couple of games. Again, I mean, I don't know if I showed you that video of the second goal we conceded against Leeds, but it was an absolute embarrassment. Joe Bryan didn't track back, caught up with the player, missed his tackle, player carried on running. Player then played a harmless ball, like along the box, okay? And 3 of our players, 1, 2, 3, tried to get the ball. 1 slipped. The second one tried to block it with a tackle and fell. The third one slipped. And then it went to the Leeds player for a tap-in. It was pathetic. 3 of our players were on the floor.
Yeah. I mean, the what if Fulham had a good defence is a pretty huge one now I think of it.
Yeah, that's a pretty solid...
pretty solid video idea, yeah.
What if Fulham had a good defence? We may still be in the Premier League, I reckon. That was our main issue. And it's what it always has been. I mean, in the Championship, we've got Mitrovic who scored 22 goals. Like, even he, though, seems to be on a poor run of form. I've never seen him have as many shots on target as he did against Brentford and not score. Back into it. I mean, Brentford would have been a very different game if we hadn't hit the crossbar in the first half and it had gone in. I mean, it's just whole dynamics of the game, really.
Yeah, and it's kind of annoying to look at it because it feels like Scott Parker is obviously not the manager to bring Fulham to that other dimension. But I feel like if Fulham do get promoted, there's no way the management is going to fire Scott Parker.
Yeah.
No. But, I mean, I hope that Scott Parker changes his tactics, but also, I mean, you never know. Fulham do have, I mean, like I said, in the season we went up, everyone thought we were done for. We were 17th. We were 17th in the Championship. We then went on a 22-game unbeaten run and recovered. We were within 1 point of second place. We had the chance to win second place, and then we went and lost away to Birmingham. At which point our coaches blamed it on the pitch being too dry.
I mean, yeah, it's going to be an exciting end to your summer. Can't wait to have you here in the south of France so I can see you, crumble down at Fulham's results. Or...
Yeah, there are 3 games I'm with you, and we're watching all of them.
3 games?
Just by the way, we're watching all of them. There's one on the day I arrive, Nottingham Forest game.
Wow, okay.
5 p.m. kickoff UK time. Big. We're watching that one, mate. I'm bringing my laptop and my Fulham FTV subscription with me, and we'll be doing a lot of analysis of our show.
It's hyped me up for the end of the Championship season now.
It's an interesting league. I actually enjoy the Championship.
Might bet £5 again on Fulham not getting promoted.
Well, then I guess you'll finally pay me back for that £5 bet you put against me 2 years ago, huh?
But I jinxed your whole club, mate. I don't know if you want that heat again.
Oh, we did go up.
Right, well, all in all, it's looking pretty bad, pretty good for Fulham. Make of it as you want. I think we'll finish here. Don't hesitate to like the video, give us your opinion in the comment section below. And that's us. Yeah. See you, everyone.
See ya.